be here today with you. Okay, I have a question. How many of you have ever had a chocolate bar? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you have siblings? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you have a mom or dad? Raise your hand. Okay, so whenever you have a chocolate bar, do you ever notice how people, like your siblings or your mom and dad, want a piece and you have to cut it off and break it off and share it?
Yes.
Okay. So right there, what you're doing, you're making fractions. You're taking that whole chocolate bar, breaking it apart, and putting it to different parts from that whole chocolate bar to share with your siblings, your friends, your mom and dad. And today, we're going to be learning about fractions. Today, we're going to be using hands-on materials to count the different parts of fractions and see how many parts it takes to make a whole. Okay, so right now, I'm going to show you a video that's going to introduce you to fractions.
Hi everyone! Today we're going to learn about fractions. A fraction is a number that is used to show how many equal parts there are. When writing a fraction, we put one number above another number with a line between them. The top number, or numerator, tells us how many parts we are talking about. The bottom number, or denominator, tells us how many parts there are altogether. When something is divided into two equal parts, we call them halves. One piece out of two total pieces is 1/2. When something is divided into three equal parts, we call them thirds. One piece out of three total pieces is 1/3. Two pieces out of three total pieces is 2/3. When something is divided into four equal parts, we either call them fourths when they appear in math, or quarters when they appear in daily life. One piece out of four total pieces is 1/4, or 1/4. Three pieces out of four total pieces is 3/4, or 3/4. Two total pieces out of four is 2/4, but because it is the same amount as one piece out of two, it is expressed as 1/2. You can keep cutting shapes into smaller and smaller pieces, and as long as the pieces are equal, those pieces are fractions. In the same way that 2/4 can be expressed as 1/2, other fractions that contain the same amount of the whole may be simplified or reduced to another fraction. For example, 4/12 is exactly the same as 2/6, which is the same as 1/3. Fractions are used in many places in our everyday lives. They are important anytime you want to share something equally, measure a part of something, or even tell time. Take a look and see if you can find any fractions around you.
Okay, so who can tell me what a fraction is?
Fraction is that two parts that are the same, and it can be
There would be different sections, different parts cut up from that one whole, right? Okay, so a fraction, right here on the vocabulary list, a fraction equals part of a whole. If you look right here, this circle is cut into 3 sections, correct? And only one out of the 3 is colored. So that is going to be 1/3. Just like right here, this rectangle cut into 3 sections and only one is colored. So only 1/3 of this rectangle is colored. Okay, so what are some examples that you've seen of fractions in real life? So who has an example? You?
one time my dad made me pizza yesterday, but my mom wanted pizza too, so we had it to share, but it was 2 different kinds.
Yeah, okay, so you cut up, you took some of the slices from that whole pizza, and those were the slices that you ate. Okay, you?
In the So one time it was my cousin's birthday and we had to cut the cake in the same sizes so everybody gets equal.
You're right. That's what a fraction is. It's an equal size from a whole. Okay?
I did with my BFF. We were sharing a lollipop, but there was not lollipops, so they were coming two lollipops, and then we broke them, and then we have a piece.
You see, sharing is caring, and we're all learning about fractions. Okay, for you. Oh, that's a lot.
Because one time, my brother, I wanted a cookie and he wanted a cookie and there was only one left and we had to cut it and like
You cut it in half, right? So you have 2 halves, and each of you got half. Exactly, just like her. Each of you had 1/2 of an apple. Okay, so who can tell me what a numerator is?
The 2 part of a fraction.
The top part of a fraction, yes. If you look on the vocabulary right here, I have a fraction 1/3, 1/3, and the top part of that fraction is going to be the numerator. Now, who can tell me what a denominator is? Okay? It's actually the bottom part of a fraction. Right there, 1/3 again, our fraction. The top number is the numerator, and that's number 1. And the bottom part of the fraction, number 3, is going to be the denominator. For every fraction, top and bottom. Top is always going to be the numerator, and the bottom is always going to be the denominator. Yes?
Sometimes when I see a window, sometimes it has 9 and it's 4.
Yeah, exactly. They're cut into 4 pieces. Some windows. This one doesn't. Okay. So now what we are going to do, I want everyone to grab their 1 sheet of ruled paper and the Hershey's Milk Chocolate Fraction reference sheet, okay, and a pencil. So we are going to continue learning about fractions today, and I'm going to read you a very cute book. I'm pretty sure that all of you know what a Hershey's chocolate bar is. Whether you have the one with almonds, or the cookie and cream, or just the plain delicious milk chocolate. And for some of you, or older adults who like the dark chocolate. Okay, so I want everybody to come sit up, come bring your materials that I've asked you, and go sit on the carpet, okay?
She's going to read it over there. Dile a Celeste la puso. Excuse me.
Yes, I find that this is a very good book to use with kids because every kid in here, I'm pretty sure, has had a chocolate bar. And like I told you earlier, we've all had to share our candy eventually. And this book will relate to you a lot because everybody loves chocolate, whether it's Hershey's or Mars bar, we all love chocolate. Okay, so this is the Hershey's Milk Chocolate Fraction book by Jerry Paulette and Rob Bolster. Okay. Milk chocolate, ooh, delicious. Here is a Hershey's milk chocolate bar, the kind Milton Hershey made famous. Before we eat it, we are going to learn about fractions. Okay, so 1/1 equals 1 whole chocolate bar. Okay, let's start by taking the wrapper off. Remember not to litter. Okay, you see? Little workers are taking off the little chocolate bars, outer covering. Okay, here we have 1 whole milk chocolate candy bar. And what is a fraction? A fraction is a part or a portion of a whole thing. We are using a Hershey's milk chocolate bar as our whole thing. Okay, so this is 1 whole unwrapped Hershey's chocolate bar. See, 1 whole. And if you look at your reference sheet, you're gonna see the examples from the book on the sheet. Okay. Yeah, you see 1/1, 1 whole Hershey bar. Ooh, this is interesting. If you break this candy bar apart, you will see 12 equal sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and 12. Okay, so we see 12/12, 12 pieces of the candy bar, 1 whole candy bar cut up. So 12/12 is 12 twelfths. And 12/12 equals 1 whole still. Why? Because we still have all the pieces of our candy bar, correct? None of them are eating yet, correct? Okay. And you can stack the 12 equal sections on top of each other. Hey, it looks different, but any way you rearrange them, they still equal 1 whole candy bar. 1 whole, 12/12 equals 1/1, which is 1 whole candy bar. Okay? Uh-oh. 1/12. Maybe this is the easiest way to understand fractions. What would you rather eat? Would you rather eat 1/12 of candy bar or 11/12 of candy bar? So would you rather eat this one little piece or this whole big piece?
The whole big piece.
Yes, because the whole big piece is bigger, right? There's more? Yes. Okay, so, or would you rather eat 11/12 of a candy bar? And you just said you'd rather eat 11/12 because that's a lot more candy to eat. If you love milk chocolate, the answer is simple. As you can see, doing fractions can be fun. Okay, so here is 1/2 of a Hershey's milk chocolate bar. 1/2, 1/2. See? And here is the other half. 6/12 is equal to 1/2. When 2 fractions equal each other, they are called equivalent fractions. Okay, so 6/12 equals 1/2. Okay, so if we look at the pieces right here, this is half of this candy bar, right? Here's 1/2 and here's 1/2. This is 1/2 out of 2 parts. Okay, but if you look right here, this half is cut into 6 pieces, right? But if you look at this half, this is the same number of pieces as this half. So 6 plus 6 is 12 parts. But right here, you have only 6 out of the 12. So 6/12 equals 1/2. They're both the same, just one is cut into smaller pieces than the other. Okay, 1/3. Here is 1/3 of a whole Hershey's milk chocolate bar. How did we get to the fraction of 1/3? Think of it like this. Our candy bar can be divided into 3 equal groups. Each of the 3 groups has 4 sections. Okay, so here's 1 whole row, and you have 4 columns of little Hershey pieces right here. Okay, so this is 1 out of 3. Okay, what is left is 2/3. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, right? 3/3. Okay, 1/3 plus 2/3 equals 3/3. When the top number and the bottom number are the same, the fraction is equal to 1. See? Okay, so these 3 parts equal 1 whole chocolate bar, right? Okay, so this is 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So 1/3 plus these 2/3 equals 3/3, 3/3. And that equals one whole chocolate bar. It's just cut into 3 sections. Okay, here's another way of saying 1/3. 4/12 is equal to 1/3. See? Remember the whole row before? It was all together? And if you cut it, there's 4 in that 1/3. So 4/12 equals 1/3. And what is left over? 8/12. Ooh, that's a lot. But it's the same as the other fractions. Remember? They have 1, 2, 3 rows. But right here, it's cut into 4 sections. Okay? And what is left over? 8/12. 8/12 is equal to 2/3. 4/12 plus 8/12 equals 12/12, which equals 1 whole candy bar. 4 out of 12, you have the 4 parts right here out of the 12 whole pieces of candy. And right here you have 8 out of the 12 pieces of candy. So when you add 8 plus 4, that's 12. 12 pieces over 12 pieces equals 1. Okay. 1/4. Here is 1/4 of a Hershey's milk chocolate bar. If you want to call this fraction 1/4, that is okay too. Because when you think of a dollar, how many quarters are in a dollar? 4. 4. Here's what is left over, 3/4. Or you could call it 3/4. So this 1/4 plus 3/4 of the candy bar equals 4/4, because there's 4 parts of this candy bar, and that equals 1. Okay? 12/12 is another way of saying 1/4. I'm sorry, 3/12 is another way of saying 1/4. Did you know that the top number is a fraction, is called the numerator, and the bottom number is called the denominator? We learned that just recently, right, in the video when we were talking about the vocabulary. Okay? Now you know. Again, let's explain it another way. 3/4 is equal to 9/12. Okay, so 3/12 plus 9/12 equals 12/12 over, and that equals 1. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. It's time for something different. We can still do fractions without the candy bar. There are 5 cows on this page. 4 cows have black spots, and 1 cow has red spots. Ooh. 1/5 of the cows is on this page has red spots. See? 1 red cow has red spots out of the 5 whole cows. Did you ever wonder why Hershey's chocolate factory was built in the middle of farm country? This is an easy answer. Milk. One of the 3 main ingredients used in making milk chocolate is milk. If 6 cows mooed and you mooed also, your moo would be 1/7 of all the moos on this page. Don't forget to ignore the ducks. See? 1 moo, 2 moo, 3 moo, 4 moo, 5 moo, 6 moo. But our moo is 1 out of the 7th moo. There's us right there in the little house. We all know what goes on there. Okay. 1/6. Sorry. Back to the candy bar. We need to learn how to put a fraction in its lowest terms. If you divide the numerator and the denominator by the same factor, you can simplify this fraction to its lowest term. 1/6 is the lowest term of 2/12. 5/6. 5/6 is what is left over from a whole candy bar after removing 1/6. See, 6 out of 6 minus 1/6. So 6 minus 1 equals 5. So it's 5 out of 6. 2/12. Here's an equation that is easy to understand. 1/6 is equal to 2/12. Here's another way to say 5/6, 10/12. It is starting to look more delicious after every fraction we show. 1/8. It is time for another break. Chocolate comes from cocoa pods. The cocoa tree grows in a very warm and moist climates. Here are 8 pods. If 1 pod fell from the tree and bonked you on the head, you would have been bonked on the head by 1/8 of the cocoa pods on this page. Okay. Cocoa, milk, and sugar are the 3 main ingredients used in making milk chocolate. Sugar usually comes from sugar canes. If you cut down one stalk, you will have to cut down 1/9 of the sugar canes left of this field. 5/12. Here's an interesting fraction. It is already in its lowest term. The fraction 5/12 cannot be broken down or reduced any further. The amount left over from the 5/12 is 7/12. 7/12 is another fraction in its lowest term. 1/10. Here's a way to get a fraction of 1/10. There are 10 candy bars on this page. 1 out of the 10 candy bars is unwrapped. See, there's 1. And here's the rest of the 9 bars right here. Okay. Here's a fraction where the top number is larger than the bottom number. This is called an improper fraction. 13/12 is really 1 and 1/12. Whoever made this fraction used more than 1 candy bar. Okay. So far in this book, we have learned that the main ingredients in milk chocolate are sugar, milk, and cocoa. We also learned that the fractions 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5/12, 6/12, 7/12, 8/12, 9/12, 10/12, 11/12, 12/12, and even 13/12. We also did fractions of 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6, 1/7, 1/8, 1/9, and 1/10. If you want to know what fraction of ingredients are used in making a Hershey's milk chocolate bar, these fractions are top secret. Yes?
That in the last page, they're reading that book.
Yep, they're reading the book right there. Okay, so as you can see, there are a lot of different ways you can cut up your candy bar, your pizza, your pie, your cake. But in the end, no matter how many ways you cut it, all those pieces will equal one whole, right? Okay, so now I want everybody to quietly get up, take your stuff, and you're gonna go sit at the tables, all right?
You want me to pause it and start another video? Just keep playing?
Okay, boys and girls, I know that you are really gonna love this part of the lesson. So we've been learning about fractions, right? We've been learning how to cut up our food, our candy, and sharing it with everybody. But no matter how many different ways we cut it up, it's still gonna equal one whole, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are going to do a cute little worksheet that I call the M&M fraction worksheet. Okay, so I'm gonna pass out some delicious M&Ms for everybody, but you can't eat this until we're done with the worksheet. Okay?
The paper says.
Yeah, the paper says do not eat your M&Ms until you are told. Okay? Yes.
I think it says fun size. Thank you.
Smell the delicious chocolate.
It smells better than a Hershey bar.
It's good, right?
It smells better than a Hershey bar. I know congratulations on that. It smells like a Hershey bar. Yes. It smells better like a Hershey. It smells better like a Hershey bar. Look, mine.
Okay, boys and girls, I need you to. All right, so everybody grab your worksheet. If you look at number 1, number 1 tells us to count the total number of M&Ms you have in your bag. Write the number you have down on the line. Okay, so everybody open your M&M bags. And be careful. Yeah, make sure you don't spill. Okay, so everybody's gonna open their M&Ms and you're gonna count how many that you have. Oh my god.
My
I will take it.
Done. I think we're 15. 15. Yo tengo 15.
Okay. Once you're done counting your M&Ms, please put them on the line below number 1, okay? Like I have right here. I took my candies out and I have a total of 16 M&Ms in my bag.
14.
La campanita.
I got 14.
Okay, when you're done counting your M&Ms and putting the number on the line, I want you to raise both your hands up, okay? And then cross your arms. Okay? So everybody's done counting their M&Ms and putting on the line?
Yes.
Okay, alrighty. Now we're gonna move on to number 2. Okay, so right here, number 2 asks you to count the number you have for each color M&M. And you look at the big box right here. You have a box for red, blue, green, yellow, brown, and orange. So I want you to count the number of red M&Ms you have, blue, green, yellow, brown, and orange. And if you don't have any number for a color, like right here, I had 0 blue M&Ms. So I put 0 in the box. So if you don't have any of the number of that color or a color that you're missing, then go ahead and just put 0, okay? So I want you to count the color of M&Ms and put it in the box, okay?
I got 2 red, yellow, 1 yellow, 5 green, and yellow, 2 green, brown, 2 orange, 2 green. Now write a fraction. Brown, 3 brown, and then green, brown, 2 orange. You have 2 you can put them on the table. Brown, 3, orange, 1, 2. That's what you get.
Great job.
Okay, when you're done filling in that box, I want you to raise both your hands and cross your arms, okay? Everybody's done?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 3. Now we're going to write a fraction for each of the color M&Ms that you have. Remember that the total number of M&Ms needs to be the denominator, the bottom number of the fraction. Okay, so you see right here for number 1, when we counted all the M&Ms that we had in the bag, right? That's going to go at the bottom of the fraction. You see right here, for all my colors, my number is 16 at the bottom of the fraction. So I want you guys to write the number that you had for number 1 at the bottom of the fraction. Go ahead and do that right now for each of your colors right there.
2, 13.
Remember, it's going to go underneath the line. Okay? Okay, so now that you've written the bottom part of the fraction, we're going to fill in the top, if you guys haven't already filled that. Okay, so we're going to take the numbers that we got from number 2, from the box number 2, and we're going to put it into the box number 3. Such as right here, for my red, I had 3 red M&Ms. So I put 3 at the top as my numerator of the fraction. Okay, so everybody fill in the top number of your fractions in the box for number 3 with the numbers you had for box number 2.
Yeah, okay. And then you had 7. Then you had 2 over 16, remember? So how many M&Ms did you have? Oh. You had 13 M&Ms. 5, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's see. Those fractions. So that's how many M&Ms you have. The top is just how many M&Ms of each color. So put 13, 13, 13, 13.
When you're done writing your fractions, I want you to raise your hands and cross your arms again, okay?
That you have in this box into the top part of the fractions for each the specific color, and then you're supposed to put the number you got for number 1 at the bottom of the denominator because that's how many M&Ms you have total. So you did a good job. You can write that as a 6. Okay, you're supposed to put these numbers in the box for number 2. Each number you had for a color, like you had 3 red, you put that correct. Okay, so then at the bottom, you're going to put the number you had for number 1, because that's the total of M&Ms you have, okay? So you put 16 at each of the bottom of these fractions as the denominator, okay?
All right, did everybody fill in number 3?
Yes.
Okay, you can go ahead and eat your candy now.
Yes.
Okay, so this was fun, right? You learned fractions through candy, right?
Yes.
So you smelled the M&Ms, you felt the M&Ms, you tasted the M&Ms, you were looking at the M&Ms, you were learning fractions through your senses, right? That was really helpful. So you learned what a fraction was, the difference between a numerator and a denominator, right?
Made me happy. Buddy, I'm just gonna eat slowly. I don't want to. Yeah, I just want. Don't blame me like this. They colored. Oh my god. Oh my god.
While you're eating your candy, I'm going to be passing out the material that you need for the next part of our lesson, okay? So when I'm done passing out, you should be done eating your candy, okay?
Don't tell me what I did. So yummy.
Okay guys, I'm almost done passing out the plates, so you should be ready, finished with your candy. Tasty and fun, right?
No. I have more.
Okay, so for the next part of the lesson, you guys are going to be writing your own fraction. Okay? Yeah, so you're going to take your paper plate. I'm going to place you in groups of 2. There might be one group of 3. And I'm going to give you a fraction card. And based on the card that you get, you're going to write out the fraction. Okay, so for right here, for mine, I had 3/4. So I drew a cake. You can draw a cake, cookie, pie, chocolate bar, or the M&Ms like you did. And I had 3/4. So 3/4 of my cake were eaten. Okay? And at the back, you're going to write a story explaining your fraction. Today was my birthday, and I had a cake. After my family was done eating my cake, I saw that 3/4 of the cake were eaten. That cake was super tasty. Okay, so you're going to get into groups of 2, and I might have a group of 3 left over. And you're going to draw whichever food example you want to do, and you're going to color it in, and you're going to shade whichever part that you have eaten or throw away, whatever. Okay? And just like with my fraction, I had 3/4, so I cut my cake into 4 sections, right? So you're going to cut whatever you draw into 4 sections and then shade in the number that you have on the top, the numerator. Okay? So, let's see. You two. Okay, so everybody get into groups of 2. And if you are out, if you don't have a group, raise your hand.
What are you looking for?
And when you get into your group of 2, I need you to sit down, okay?
Okay. Orimar is going home. Ori, you're going home. No partner, sorry. She has to go home.
When you got into your group of 2, I need you to again raise your hands and cross your arms. And whoever still doesn't have a group, raise one arm. Okay, I'm going to count to 5, and you have to find a group. And whoever still doesn't have a group, just keep your hand up, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you still don't have a group? Okay, so you're going to go right here.